Welcome back to my online video tutorial series. Our objective for today is to find the shortest possible distance on the horizontal line, on the plan, and our objective today is to find the shortest possible distance on the plan and on the front. The first step is to choose any line, any of the two lines, and draw a line parallel to that line at the end of the next line. So in this case, I choose to draw a line parallel to CD at point B. If you're using AutoCAD, you would copy this line here, copy this line, copy line CD to B. So I'm changing my color here. I'm gonna erase this. So here, starting here, I'm drawing this line parallel to that line. There seems good. And as the golden rule states, whatever it is that you do on the front, you must do the same on the plan. So this should have been C. Let me replace that. Text. Color is that. Font is that. Right here, this should have been C. Good. So we have our A, B, C, D, A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. So let's continue. Our next step is to draw a line also parallel on the to CD at B prime, to C prime, D prime. Where is C prime? Here. B. So we draw B prime parallel to that. So the next step is to draw another parallel line here. That seems good. My third step is to draw a horizontal line from point A, which is the other end of the line. So I click here, horizontal line across. That seems pretty horizontal. This now becomes point O. Next step is to draw a line down from this point. Draw a line down from this point. Escape. A line down here. Touch this line. Yep. Let's delete this one. The point where the horizontal line meets the parallel line, label that point O. That is O on the plan. Down here, we label it O prime. O prime. Now, find the true length of this, of AO on the plan. We need to draw a line from A prime through to O prime and extend that line outward. So we draw a line from here, starting here, extend that line through that point and outward like that. Our next step is to draw a line through these points. 1 point here, 1 point there, 1 point here, parallel to this line. So parallel to this line. So I start here, 1 line here. Probably I should use a different color. All right, 1 line here as well, parallel to that. That seems parallel. And so we have 3 of them here. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. Well, that's already there. This seems to fall in the same spot as that. All right. Our next step is to establish a perpendicular line here. Draw a perpendicular line on these parallel lines. Yeah. So for this, I'm going to change the color. I want a different color, and so I want this like that. And show it's perpendicular. Text. So this now is x1, x1, y1. No, I don't want that color. I want the color to be red. X1, x1, y1, y1. Click here, y1. My next step is to transfer the measurements, is to generate the auxiliary view here. And to generate auxiliary view, we normally move 2 views back from where we intend to draw. So I intend to draw in x1, y1. So I then step off 1 view, 2 view. I then transfer these perpendicular distance, these distance here, these distance on the corresponding line. All right. So I'm gonna, it would have been good to label these lines first, but I'll label as I transfer the measurements. So let me change the color to this. So my next step is to, it's point A, transfer this distance, onto the corresponding lines of this distance, onto the corresponding line, which would be here. That seems to be it. And label this A. This is A, A2, A2. Then go across to B. And in like manner, we're going to transfer this distance from here, this distance, transfer that distance onto B line. So this is B, that distance onto B line. So I start here, transfer that distance onto B line. So B seems to be about someplace here. Yeah. My next step is to join the label. Should label first. This is B2, yes, B2, yes. And I'm gonna join A to B using a straight line. A to B, join A. I want a thicker line for this. And A to B, A to B. Yep, so that is one. Next step is to transfer this distance. So C, let's locate line C. transfer C distance, which is from here to about here, yeah, or a little bit more to about here, and label that C2, label that C2, C2, yep. Then go across now to D and transfer this distance onto D line. So we go down to D, D would be here. So we would click here and go up to transfer that corresponding distance. That seems to be it. And then we draw a line from here to this point. To that point. Yeah. These lines should be parallel. If these lines are not parallel, then something is not correct. In this case, let's look parallel. So we're basically good. So my first objective is done, which is to get these lines to look parallel. All right. So this is my next step is to, well, it depends on what the question asks. If the question asks you to find the shortest horizontal distance on distance alone, then you would draw a perpendicular line here. You draw a perpendicular line here. Well, you would draw a perpendicular line here and then measure the distance there. So this would be the shortest horizontal distance, right? To get the shortest horizontal, I will need to go a step further. I could measure this. Well, this could give me the shortest horizontal distance. But if I want the shortest horizontal, the closest possible distance, this would have been it. But if I want the closest possible distance on the plan and on the elevation, I would need to produce lines perpendicular to these, or create an auxiliary view number, a third or second auxiliary view to this. Note carefully, that is if they want the closest or shortest possible distance on the plan and on the elevation. If the question asks that you find the shortest horizontal distance, you must produce lines from these points. In that case, you must produce lines from these points parallel to this, parallel. Then transfer these distance onto those points, and it should form an X. Yeah. It should form an X. Yeah. I don't want these. All right. Should form an X. How long is this video?